What is going on, everybody? NFL football is officially back. This is NFL Turf Talk. We are live here on DSM Media tonight. Rams, Bills preview best bets of the game, both of our top 10 power rankings, as well as our playoff and Super Bowl predictions. All that and a lot more when we are back in 30 seconds.
One-on-one.
Lovett flares out to the right. Caught over the middle and into.
He's at the 45. Are you kidding? He's going to go.
Brady gets hit. The ball is out. And Philadelphia has it.
What's up, guys? As I said earlier, this is NFL Turf Talk, streaming to you guys live on DSM Media's Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook channels. If you're new to the channel, head on over to @DSM_media on Twitter. Hit that follow button, and while you're on the page, click on that link tree in our bio to take you to every social media platform we are available on. If you guys want to be interactive throughout today's show, specifically head on over to the DSM YouTube channel. It's where we can pull up your comments, thoughts, questions, concerns, whatever you got for us regarding the NFL season and tonight's matchup. Hit that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it. Like this video. We greatly appreciate it. I am one half of your host, Dylan Davis. You can find me on Twitter at DylanJD98. To my right, my faithful co-host, Scotty. Check him out on Twitter at ScottyDrown. Cheers, brother. It feels like Christmas Day. Last night felt like Christmas Eve. I could not fall asleep quick enough. Every time I woke up in the middle of the night, I was like, go back to sleep. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Like, just wait. The only problem with a day like today when it feels that special is you got to wait till 8:30 to unwrap your gifts, right? It's not your typical holiday, but It still feels really special. What's going on? And football is back.
Yeah. Nonetheless, it's back, and I am certainly happy. I woke up with a new energy today. It's been, I'm not like the biggest baseball fan, so summer sports wise is pretty rough for me. I can get behind the Phils when they're good. I don't fully. Yeah. I'll be transparent. I don't fully understand baseball and all the statistics that go into it, so it's hard for me to keep up like I do with basketball, football. So I am happy, nonetheless. Sports season. Not only is it football, but that means basketball is right around the corner for me too. But yeah, man, I'm ready to get into this game tonight because this is one of the best matchups of the season, of the year. So I'm very excited to get the season kicked off with this matchup specifically.
Well, yeah, man, this is a potential Super Bowl matchup, week one. Opening night. So it feels different. And you mentioned, and don't get me wrong, I can't wait for the NBA. I can't wait for the Sixers.
Yeah, it's different.
I can't wait for the Phillies to hopefully crack into October and the playoff picture for the first time in a decade, right? Like you said, this is different. Football is different. We're not even talking Eagles. This is not an Eagles game. This is just, there is a different feel when football's in the air. The weather starts to change. You open up your windows, you go outside, and like you can almost, and it's going to sound weird, you can taste the air, if that makes, you can taste what it feels like outside. It's a different time of the year. And it feels really good. But like you said, let's get into this matchup first and foremost right here. Kicking off the NFL season is the defending Super Bowl champions, Los Angeles Rams, hosting the Buffalo Bills, who we all know lost in ridiculous fashion in maybe the greatest game ever in NFL history to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the AFC divisional round last year. This is interesting because not only is this a great game, not only could this be a potential Super Bowl preview, this is a game that you and I disagree on, and that doesn't happen a whole lot here on the show. So, guys, buckle up, grab your popcorn, whatever you got to do, grab your drink, because me and Scotty might go at it for the next 20 minutes. I'll start here. Who do you like in this matchup and why?
Well, you already know who I like, but and so does everybody else on social media, and I'm riding it to the grave here. I'm riding with the Bills tonight, man, and the reason being, I think they're coming out. They do got a chip on their shoulder. They're pissed off about the way their season finished last year in that overtime game where they did not get another opportunity at the Chiefs, at that Chiefs defense that they were just eating up. Now, let's be honest. This ain't the Chiefs defense either. So I'm not expecting some feast like that, but I am expecting Josh Allen to come out and play with some type of energy tonight. And ultimately, what worries me with the Rams, and when I say worry, they're number one in my power rankings. Let's be honest. I worry about a Super Bowl hangover, and I worry about Matthew Stafford's elbow. I know I saw what Matthew Stafford said. He feels 100% going into this game. It's not a story unless it's a story, right? And that's how I kind of view that elbow. It makes me a little worried with the Rams, but nonetheless, I'm going with the Bills tonight just off that revenge type of energy. I think they come out with a chip on their shoulder. They got Von Miller in the house. We could talk about that a little bit, but how are you feeling, my friend?
Well, obviously I disagree, man. And I disagree because I feel like it's, and not from you specifically. I hear your point. And again, this is not going to come as a surprise to me if the Rams lose this game. The Bill, you're right. I have the Rams number one in my power rankings as well. I have the Bills number two. This is no disrespect to the Buffalo Bills. The problem is, Scotty, I want to know, to your point, you're talking expectation week one. One has energy. One might have a little bit of a hangover, right? Like you and I might have Sunday morning. But, you know, heading into this one, I want to know where the disrespect came towards the Los Angeles Rams. Not from you specifically, but from as a whole, everyone, like,
for them to be underdogs.
This team is the defending Super Bowl champions who are better on paper than they were last year when they won the Super Bowl. Yes, they lost Von Miller to the Buffalo Bills. What do? They replaced him with Bobby Wagner. Now, totally different, stylistically different type of players. One's an edge rusher. One is a middle linebacker going to control the middle of the field, more in pass protection, run stopping, stuff like that. Nonetheless, great linebacker, future Hall of Fame linebacker in Bobby Wagner. They also replaced Robert Woods with who they shipped off last year to the Titans with Allen Robinson. Yeah. Allen Robinson now gets to play with the best quarterback ever in his career. He's a big body target on the opposite end of Cooper Kupp. They didn't really lose anybody outside of Von Miller. On paper, this is the most talented team in the league, in my opinion. They've gotten better than when they were when they won the Super Bowl. They're at home, and I think it's utterly disrespectful that they are 2.5-point underdogs in this one. Because if you think about it, the home team normally gets, or, you know, is automatically a 3-point favorite.
So it's like they're even. Oh, well, no, not even. Excuse me. That would be the other way around if they were 2.5-point favorites. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're talking so realistically. They're calling them about a 5 to 6-point underdog here tonight. And I think it's ridiculous.
I think that's crazy. I'll agree with you on that standpoint. For the Bills to be favored on the road, I'm going out on a limb, I feel like, here, going against the Rams and taking the Bills in this game.
Bro, everybody's on them.
And I feel like it shouldn't be
Not my man Phil.
Not Phil. I saw you guys talking this morning, man. I get your point, and I think at the end of the day, this game is gonna. I'm hoping it's high scoring. I'll tell you my score right now. I got it 38-31 Buffalo.
Interesting. Love it because I took both teams to score over 19.5.
There is another world where this is like a knockout drag 'em out fight. My only thing is I don't see the Rams not being able to score. So Josh Allen and that Buffalo offense are going to have to match them with points. You know, Tre'Davious White being out, that is a huge
That's big, dude. Nobody's talking about it. By the way, I saw literally 2 minutes before we went live, Shaq Lawson is inactive. Was that supposed to happen? Was he? I didn't see him on the injury report yesterday. What, like, is that why is that? Is that it's a surprise to me? Is it a surprise to you?
It was a surprise to me. I did not have enough time to like look into that before we hopped on because I just saw it before we hopped on.
He's on their inactive sheet, and I'm confused as to why. But let me ask you this, man. In terms of the game, we know we had Matt Stafford coming off the Super Bowl win finally last year, gets over that hump. Now we have young Josh Allen. I know you're high on Josh Allen. Hell, I'm high on Josh Allen, Scotty. He's number 3 on my quarterback list. And I know he's not number 1 to you either. I believe he was number 2 when we went through that position group. But outside of just you, like if you've seen it on social media, you've seen people on television and radio talk about it. Where has this perception come from? Not only with just the Bills being the top dog now, so many people, the Bills are Super Bowl favorites. They're number 1 in power rankings, et cetera, et cetera. Not only just them, the catalyst behind it is MVP favorite Josh Allen, who a lot of people have as the top quarterback heading into this year. What is happening? Dude, I'm high on Josh Allen.
I feel you.
You know that. Scotty, did he win or lose that game in the divisional round?
He did lose. Let's not get
He
it
did
twisted.
lose.
Yeah.
Now, not his fault. He played one of the greatest games I ever seen. Who topped him?
You know.
Another quarterback. It wasn't
Yeah.
a defensive stop. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Another quarterback topped what he was able to do in that game.
100%.
And I don't think he's better than Aaron Rodgers. It's whatever. We don't have to get into all that.
Yeah, no.
Why is there this sentiment around your pick tonight? Like around the Buffalo Bills, why is there this whole ideology that they are the top dog in the NFL? Josh Allen's the top quarterback in the NFL, when quite frankly, they haven't proven shit. And they did nothing to really get better this offseason. They brought in Von Miller, helps their defense. Got it. Von Miller's another year older. I know he just helped the Rams win a Super Bowl. He wasn't a catalyst on that defense. They brought in Jamison Crowder. I like the fit. I do like the fit. I took Jamison Crowder in a prop tonight.
Yeah.
Doesn't really do much for you. He's your fourth wide receiver on your depth chart.
Right.
So they lost in the divisional round last year, and they didn't do much to improve. And they lost Brian Daboll. So why is there this aura around the Buffalo Bills heading into the season that they're so damn special?
It's a great question, quite honestly. It is a great question because
I'm confused.
I have that gut feeling in me as well about the Bills, and it's very odd, I would say.
But isn't it?
I
Like,
feel that way
I
about
have them at
Josh Allen.
2. Like, that's extremely high.
Yeah, I feel you, and you even have to ask yourself, like, let me. I mean, I'll pose this question even to myself. In a realistic standpoint, what makes like the Bills better than the Chargers, for instance? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's a great question. I think it's just this feeling of it is like Josh Allen's time. I don't know why it feels like this, but it feels like each year now for probably about 2 or 3 seasons, he's gotten better and better. And it just feels like it's his time right now.
Brian Daboll.
Well, I know, and it is very counteractive to the point because some people would argue that Brian Daboll made Josh Allen, right? There's people out there that believe that. I don't know. It is interesting, and it does feel like a gut feeling to me, but it just feels like they've had those games in the playoffs now where these are gut-wrenching losses that kind of shape your perspective on the future. I remember last season, we start the season, and the same type of hype, it wasn't as strong last year with the Bills. But it was
not
still
at all.
It was still major hype. They weren't Super Bowl
There was
favorites.
hype, dude, but not like this.
It
This is
wasn't
another
like this.
level. And listen, I'm not saying it's not a possibility. They're
Why are
going
they
to
favored
be
over others? though?
we're going to get to a segment later in the show where I have them incredibly high. We can talk about it later. But why are they now the top dog? And you brought up Josh Allen. It feels like it's his year. I got you. But let me ask you something. It would feel like that to me if everyone was Aaron Rodgers' age or older. If all the top dogs, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, we know those two. Matt Stafford, Russell Wilson, another year older. But why is it Josh Allen's year specifically when there is a Justin Herbert, who everyone's incredibly high on, when there is a Joe Burrow who just made it to the Super Bowl last year, when there's a Patrick Mahomes who outdueled Josh Allen in that divisional round last year? Well, why is it all of a sudden Josh Allen's time specifically? Not saying it won't happen, but I think there's much more of a conversation to be had than what people are giving it credit. Like people are crediting it.
I think
What's going on, Jason?
I think that's fair. I think that's fair as hell, honestly, when you look at the situation to put him in with that lump group. You could even put him in there with Patrick Mahomes. There's an argument that this is Patrick Mahomes' year. Like, and it's weird to say that, right? But there's an argument for it because he loses Tyreek Hill. So, like, I get your point. What is it about the Bills? Are they just a likable team? Is it because they haven't
Is it
anything?
Bills Mafia? Is it they throw people through tables in the
honestly
parking
think
lot?
It is. And maybe because it feels like our fan, and when I say our fan base, I mean Philadelphia, feels like we're slightly close with that fan base for some reason. We look at each other.
Passionate. It's the passion.
Yeah, so I wonder if it is just likability.
And Jason, to your point, I completely understand. Josh Allen is number 3 on my quarterback list in the NFL this year. I'm high on him. I'm high on the Bills. But where does this idea come from? I'm not saying from Jason. I don't know what his quarterback projections are. But
Yeah.
where is this idea from people come that Josh Allen's all of a sudden the best quarterback in the league?
Quarterback in the league. Yeah,
And the Bills are Super Bowl favorites. Where has this come from? That, like, again, I'll go back to the original conversation. The Rams won it last year. They are better on paper. The Bills lost in the divisional round. They did really nothing to get better outside of adding Von Miller to their pass rush. And again, listen, I'm not saying he's not ready. He is ready. They are ready. But there's so much other talent in the league at that position in that conference that I can't grasp why they're so high.
See, and I think that is part of it too, because I was talking to somebody earlier today. So I'm just like reading through Jason's comments there. And I'm wondering if maybe it's a perspective on the surrounding cast. Because I know some people
but
are
I'll tell you,
skeptical
I think the Rams
of Gabe
defense is better.
Davis. I know. I'm just saying different perspectives as far as like that surrounding cast where wide receiver 2, some people might not think Gabe Davis is ready to be that.
Yeah, I don't.
I do have this gut feeling that he is about to go off this season, man.
Listen. I know you do. I know Jason does. I know a lot of people do. Part of me wants to just say, stop it. Stop. Listen, I'm not saying he's not talented. He's not a good wide receiver. I'm not saying he's not number 2. But there's this whole perception that this is a breakout season coming from Gabe Davis. I took him for a prop tonight, and we'll get into that. But this, I just think, again, that's another point to what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There is another overhyped situation on this team, on this roster. You know what I mean?
But it might not be. That's what I mean. It might.
Well, sure.
Overhyped.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he might.
I could be
really
proven
good.
wrong. I could be wrong about all of it. But my point is, why?
Why is this I get your point. I do.
There has to be some sort of. There has to be something you saw in the past to add to your projection. And while yes, they've shown why they can be elite, it hasn't made them the top dog yet. Until you beat the top dog, you can't be the top dog. Buffalo comes out tonight and beats the Rams or beats up on the Rams, you'll hear me this Sunday telling you I was wrong. And it's only week 1. But that needs to happen first before I can get to that.
That's the other side of it, I think, is that if the this means more for the Bills. If the Rams come out and lose this game, it's not that big of a deal. And when I say that, I mean it, because I promise you, no matter what tonight, if the Rams lose this game tonight, they are staying number 1 in my power rankings. And I 100% mean that, because this game doesn't determine how good the Rams are this season. What the hell?
Yeah, that's getting
that threw me off in the comments, man. I don't know what the hell that was. But I think that's the other side of the combo, is that the Bills, I feel like, have more to lose, if that makes sense.
You're right.
That's perspective based as well.
You're 100% right, but I also feel like I feel like the Rams are going to take it as a slap in the face tonight.
Fair, and Jalen Ramsey talked about that. I feel that.
I really do. I think Aaron Donald, Matt Stafford, I think they all do. Jason's saying he thinks Cooper Kupp's going to show a regression.
Why do I have that feeling too? Because there's only hold on. What he did.
Hold on. Let's talk regression. What's our definition of regression in terms
number
of
number 3 receiver in the NFL?
Right. Like, he's going to regress in terms of the production and numbers he put up last year, in my mind. I don't think that's his overall play. And Jason's kind of alluding to Allen Robinson being there. And that's my point why the Rams are better. But to kind of bring this whole conversation back to the game itself before we move on, I'm going with the Rams for that reason. I think they're the better team. Until you show me otherwise, I'm not making that prediction. And I think they have a chip on their shoulder tonight, specifically, banner getting raised, because you're home dogs. When has this happened?
That is kind of crazy.
When is the defending champ? When has the defending champ ever been a home dog to start the next year?
See, and ESPN did their own, percentage who they think is going to win. They had the Rams as the favorite, so they even pointed out that they're going against the sports books.
The public's money is on the Bills tonight.
That's
and
interesting.
I'm all
man.
for it. So you're going with a Bills W. I'm
Yes.
going with a Rams W. You have it. What was your final score? 38-31?
38-31.
38-31, high scoring. If you guys want the over, take the over. Scotty's obviously going with Bills money line and spread. I'm going with Rams money line spread, whatever you want to do. I do as well, kind of like the over. First game's a little scary. You never know how it's really going to play out when it comes to the offenses being up to speed, the defenses, etc. Mason's going the Rams W, and Jason obviously going with the Bills W. So we're 3-2. Bills with us.
I think that I love that you pointed it out, because I think if these teams are sloppy, like if it is a first week syndrome of errors, I feel like Josh Allen can make up for those more, and I feel like he can take over the. I don't know why, man. I know what you're saying. I just have like this hunch, just like everybody else. It's really weird, actually. I will admittedly say that. It is really weird, my infatuation with Josh Allen this year, and just what I think he can do. I'm just so infatuated with his running style and like what he can do in the 20-yard line. I just feel like he's unstoppable, man. And it's really weird. I don't know if it was that game in the playoffs where you see him going head to head with Patrick Mahomes. And just to kind of pivot off of that, oh shit. just to pivot off of that, as far as looking at the game that we're talking about, that Chiefs and Bills matchup last season in the divisional round of the playoffs. When you look at those teams translating into this season, who has the better roster around them? And then I think that's what stems into the Josh Allen MVP hype, the MVP talk, is that, you have Patrick Mahomes, right? The head of the Chiefs. He's going to have a big year this year. I agree. I think he's going to be in the MVP running. But when you think about which team can have the success to go along with the performance, Josh Allen doesn't have to play in the AFC West. And I think that is part of the explanation there for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. But I think it doesn't go lightly to say this is anybody's game tonight. This is a potential Super Bowl matchup. And I'm just excited to watch it. I'm not going to have any type of ill will. If the Rams win, if the Bills win, this means nothing to me. I'm just happy that football is back, guys. So that's ultimately where I would, leave the reasoning behind, Josh Allen. I don't know if you missed that, Dylan. I know you had to. We got the beard in us. We got to do what we got to do out here. But nonetheless, I was just explaining the thing with Josh Allen.
Oh, the AirPods were in. I got you.
Oh, they were in. You heard me. You heard
yeah.
me. I don't need to re-explain. And I'm interested to hear your counterpoints to that, because that's just something that I've came up with in my head right now. Like, that's not something I came into this show thinking, but you had my wheels spinning, my wheels turning, and it's just something I thought about. So I'm interested to see your counter arguments to that, because that's the only way that I can see.
What was it again?
Mounting up.
What was the hype though that you mentioned?
So as far as taking the hype from taking the hype from that divisional round matchup, right? The Chiefs and the Bills. You bring that into this season, and then you ask yourself who has the better surrounding cast. So, like, just Bills versus Chiefs, for instance. Bills obviously have the better defense. I love Travis Kelce, but I'm leaning towards the Bills' offensive weapons as well. So I'm thinking about that. Who has a better surrounding cast? Which team can live up to that quarterback's performance to go along with the MVP caliber performance? And I think the Bills, being outside of that AFC West, maybe that's the difference. You see Patrick Mahomes.
Well, the division 100%. Yeah, the division's 110% going to play a factor into these two teams this year, because the reason I'm so high on the Bills regular season wise, and don't get me wrong, Miami, interesting team. Outside of that, bad division. I think the Bills are going to rack up regular season wins. They're going to be atop of the AFC in the regular season. However, when you talk about them two just kind of head to head, yes, forget about it. Don't talk about the defenses. the Buffalo Bills defense is a top 2 unit, top 3 unit, if not the best unit in all of football when all of healthy. Chiefs, probably the worst unit in the NFC in their division. So that's a problem.
Fair.
But if you're talking what's around them, I'm sorry. Stephon Diggs, clearly, he's a top 5 wide receiver to me. I got it. I'm taking Patrick Mahomes supporting cast all day long, even with the subtraction of Tyreek Hill. You have Travis Kelce, who's the best tight end in the league, in my opinion. The running back situation is very, very similar. Then the Bills just aren't going to be able to run the ball. Devin Singletary, I know they drafted James Cook. They have Zach Moss. Gint loves them. Got it. Similar with the Chiefs. Clyde Edwards-Helaire really, after his rookie year, hasn't lived up to those kind of expectations. But you bring in a Juju Smith-Schuster, who is obviously clearly no Tyreek Hill, but he's still their number one. He's still very productive. He's been a productive wide receiver his entire career with an aging Ben Roethlisberger and backups. You bring in Marquez Valdez-Scantling from the Packers, who's going to be that slot kind of deep threat wide receiver. You drafted Sky Moore. They have pieces, and I'll tell you the two guys you did not mention that mean more so than anything: Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy.
Fair.
They mean more than anything to Patrick Mahomes in this offense compared to Josh Allen losing Brian Daboll.
That's fair.
Yeah, so
yeah, that's fair. I would. The only argument that I would argue back to that is just that's a lot of moving pieces in that offense as far as weapons. I mean, you brought in a whole new wide receiving core. I get it's very close. I'm not going to argue that because you would say Stephon Diggs and Travis Kelce basically cancel each other out. I don't know. That's tough for me. I would say they cancel each other out, but I would lean Travis Kelce a little bit more valuable than Stephon Diggs. I don't know how you feel about that conversation. But
I think Travis Kelce's more valuable to Patrick Mahomes than Stephon Diggs is to Josh Allen. I know that's crazy. I know that's crazy to think, but I really do. I really do think that. But Jason, I'll throw the counterpoint to you. Josh Allen wasn't successful before Brian Daboll. Yeah. And it's no sample size or this much sample size, but you get my point. The argument right now is that Brian Daboll was able to get the most out of Josh Allen, to elevate Josh Allen. We don't know what that looks like. Just like we don't know what Patrick Mahomes with no Tyreek Hill looks like. Yeah. A lot of question marks. The storylines in the NFL this year are fascinating to me. But that's what I'm looking forward to.
Let me ask you a question just about the game tonight. We've talked about Josh Allen. We've talked about like Stafford. We talked about the passing offenses. Do either of these teams run the goddamn ball tonight?
Not a lot. And no, because I don't think either's going to have much success at it. I don't think Cam Akers being back for the Rams is big, obviously, with Darrell Henderson being healthy and there as well. But if there's a strength to that top defense that is the Buffalo Bills right now, with their secondary being a little banged up, it's their front seven. And then obviously, if you want to talk about the front seven of the Los Angeles Rams, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So, and then you just look at the talent. It's not Derrick Henry or Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. We're talking Cam Akers and Devin Singletary or Zach Moss in the backfield. So I don't think either team's going to have a lot of success running the ball. It's going to be an air attack, a lot of pass heavy type of stuff coming up.
I do agree with what Jason is saying there as well. I think that is another feature to that.
Let me tell you something. Let me say one more thing before we get into our best bets for tonight. They need to be very careful with how they treat Josh Allen this year and going forward.
Yeah, this year, especially
in terms of his run. Listen, I get he's a behemoth of a man as a quarterback, and he can take some of those hits. You do not want your franchise quarterback at that level taking that punishment day in week in and week out. If you're the Bills and Josh Allen, you don't want that. We all look at Lamar and Kyler and these running quarterbacks and think, oh man, they're going to take a lot. They don't. They get out of bounds. They make people miss. Josh Allen is brute force, shoulder to shoulder, chest to chest type of contact. And it's worked the last year or two. That doesn't make for longevity. That doesn't make for a healthy quarterback in Josh Allen, because all it takes is one bad hit, one bad angle to go wrong for him and the Bills, and their season's in the shitter.
And the good thing about not being a Bills fan but liking Josh Allen is It's not going to affect me.
Right, that's fun for me.
Run it up, my dude. I love watching it. Like, I don't want him to get injured, obviously, but like my team's season isn't hanging in the balance.
Exactly. It's fascinating to watch as a fan. I don't have to worry about it.
As a Bills fan, though, I feel you.
Yeah.
Like that for the future, if you want to keep Josh Allen, you need him to stay upright on his feet. So I'm with you. Just another note, and it's kind of, I will say it is irrelevant, but just to point out a little history, Josh Allen versus the Rams, he's only played him one time apparently in his career. That was back in 2020, 311 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 rushing TD, and a Bills win. Totally irrelevant. I just wanted to put that out there. Josh Allen has had a day against the LA Rams before. Doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow. They have a Bobby Wagner, a guy that can follow him.
Wait, what year was that? I did miss the year you said.
2020, 2 years ago.
Okay, okay. A little bit.
Roughly. Yeah.
No, I got you.
One season ago, but 2 years ago.
All right, so Scotty's got the Bills winning 38-31. I'm going to take Rams 31-27 in a nail-biter. Very good game. Love the over, and we'll get to more stuff. But let's get to our best bets of the night, Scotty. So I have 2. So I have some straight bets that I like that I can throw out, but I have 2 parlays that I placed for tonight. Well, let's get this out of the way. For anybody, and they're not even a sponsor, so I don't know why I'm doing this for them all week long. However, if you guys are on DraftKings, if you opt into their early payout promo that they have running, you place a money line bet on either the Bills or the Rams tonight. Your team does not have to win. If the team you select gets up by 7 points or more tonight, so first team, if the Bills go up 7, if the Rams go up 7-0, whatever happens, you get paid out and win instantly. So I suggest if you are watching, if you're on DraftKings, we have less than an hour till kickoff. Go in and do that right now. I've taken the Rams. Scotty's taking the Bills. Clearly, that's who we think are going to win the game. But all it takes is for a first drive, second drive type of touchdown, and you come away with profit. However, Scotty, here are my 2 parlays for tonight. Both semi-risky. So the first one's plus 700 odds, okay? I have Josh Allen and Matt Stafford each over 229.5 passing yards. I think 230 plus for both of them is more than reasonable in 2 air attack.
Is that like week 1 syndrome that they got them that low? You know what I mean?
It's not their over under. It's their starting kind of. I think they were like minus 300, minus 260 type of odds, where they're nice to just kind of boost your odds. It's not their over under mark. Then I have now this, like I said, this one's a little more difficult. So I have them 2, and then I have Allen Robinson and Dawson Knox anytime touchdown scorers.
Okay.
This is a great. I don't know the answer to this. Let me hold on. Let me ask my conspirator. I believe it does. My person here, my source says that they believe it does. So I'm not sure. And by the way, if you are not signed up for DraftKings at the moment, I don't know why it's not letting me click. There we go. If you're not signed up, if you're a new customer and you go sign up and deposit $5, if you're allowed to bet in Delaware, you get an automatic $200 in free bets.
Yeah, I did see that as well.
He says you are allowed to bet in Delaware. So, in DraftKings specifically. So, there you go. If you're looking to bet tonight, if you're not signed up, sign up, deposit $5, bet it. You get $200 instantly in free bets. You can also opt in to that bet. But that's my first parlay, Scotty. Josh Allen and Matt Stafford over 229.5 passing yards. Allen Robinson and Dawson Knox anytime touchdown scores as well. I threw $30 on it, pays $240. Thank you, Jason. We're hoping tonight, buddy. We're hoping. We're more so hoping that the Rams end up winning or covering that 7 points. But what do you got for me? I got another one, but I'll let you go first.
Yeah. So my first one I got here, this one comes out to plus 1,300. So this is my play of the night. I'm hoping this is the one that hits. This is the one I want. So I got Buffalo Bills money line, obviously. I got Josh Allen anytime touchdown. I think he's gonna have to get tricky in that red zone tonight. Use his legs, get into the end zone. they're going to need it. I got Allen Robinson. I'm with you. Touchdown tonight. I think the Rams make a point to get him some looks, get him some nice
Part of
looks,
me wants to say
get him
first
some
TD
confidence.
scorer, man.
I feel you. I think they're going to go to him on purpose. New target, best quarterback he's ever played with, like you mentioned earlier. I like Allen Robinson tonight. And then Gabe Davis. I am going 40+ receiving yards. And that gets me to plus 1,300 in DraftKings. Gabe Davis, the way I'm looking at that, Jalen Ramsey's going to be on Diggs. So you're not going to go to Diggs as much as you normally would, although I'm sure Diggs will get his. But that is the one I'm riding with first here at plus 1,300.
Hold on. Let me check back with my source.
We're giving out incorrect information.
Well, I just had to correct my source here. He reads the Google search to me, and yeah, he says that it reads. It's one of the few states that allows fantasy line. So essentially, you could do fantasy money football,
but not
gambling. So excuse my source over behind me. He screwed you up there. Sorry, buddy. Jason riding on the Isaiah McKenzie train. So Jason, just for you, this is already placed. So just for you, here you go. This one is plus 625. I have a boost. It takes it to plus 875. This is what I call my receiving exclusive kind of parlay, Scotty. So I have Isaiah McKenzie, 15+ receiving yards. I have Allen Robinson, over 49.5 receiving yards. Gabe Davis, over 44.5 receiving yards. Cooper Kupp, over 74.5 receiving yards. Ready for this one? Ben Skowronek, the slot receiver for the Rams, over 14.5 receiving yards. No Van Jefferson. They run 3 wide receivers all the time. This man could slip and fall into 15 receiving yards tonight. And to top it all off, I have each team to score over 19.5 total points.
Easy. I like it.
$30 pays $292.50.
I like
That's
it.
what we're going with. Dude, I almost wanted to throw in Skowronek for a touchdown. Let me throw that out there. So if anyone's interested, I believe he's like around +5. Dude, just it's one of those gut kind of feeling things. They run 3 wide receivers. That's what they do. No Van Jefferson. He's listed on the depth chart as number 3. I heard earlier that the Rams love what they've seen out of him. Stafford's going to throw the ball around the field. It's one of those
goes in
weird
Thursday
things.
Night Football.
Exactly, man. So Ben Skowronek, I have him over 14.5 receiving yards in my parlay. I would not be surprised if he scores a touchdown tonight.
Got you. I got 2 more for you. They're not as high rewarding as that one. My first one, this is kind of my safer pick. Don't have any money lines in it. We're sticking away from the actual game result.
Yeah.
Plus 500. It's my safe one, like I said. Got Cooper Kupp anytime touchdown, Stephon Diggs anytime touchdown. Those are the guys, right? And then I got you same thing. So Josh Allen over 230, Matthew Stafford over 230, plus 500.
Like
that's a safe bet.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lock.
Yeah, I feel like that's got to hit. Just when you think Cooper Kupp's not going to score, he scores like 2 or 3 times. So I mean, he's borderline a lock for a touchdown a game almost. My other one is at plus 900. So it's similar to the last one. Both Diggs, Kupp, touchdown each. Josh Allen plus 230. Allen Robinson over 49.5 yards receiving. Stephon Diggs over 55 yards receiving. And then Bills money line. So I went again with the Bills money line to get that plus 900. But all good bets. I mean, pick who you want out of these offenses because it's going to be a fun one tonight. And hopefully your guy gets chosen tonight, whoever it is.
Yeah, man. So we will see. But that wraps up the Bills-Rams portion of the show. As expected, went over the time we thought we were going to spend on this.
We disagreed, so I
one
think
last
that
second.
made a healthy.
Mrs.
combo.
Scotty, what's going on? We got to get to another Sixers game. Got to get to another Sixers game this year.
Mrs. Scotty.
Any rushing numbers? Who is going to have the most rushing yards? Listen, man, I stayed away from any. I know Scotty. I think you put something in there. No,
No, I didn't.
No,
touch
you
the
didn't. You
rushing.
didn't. You didn't.
Only Josh Allen rushing touchdown. That was it.
It scares me, man. I don't think either team's going to have success running the ball tonight. I don't know what Allen's total set at. If it's set at like, I don't know, 19 and a half, somewhere around that line, I would definitely take the over.
I think it's set at. Maybe that was just no. I won't say it's set at that. I would have to look. I saw
What do you think,
39
30?
and a half earlier, but that's really
That's
high.
a lot, man, against this kind of defense. I don't like any type of rushing prop tonight. So I'll throw that
Because
out.
they're not likely to stick with the run if it's getting denied. Let's be
Not at
honest.
all.
They'll go
Not-
to their quarterbacks.
They're not likely to stick to the run regardless.
Exactly.
And regardless if it's working, and I don't think it's going to work tonight. All right. So anyway, let me pull up my screen here. These are our top 10 power rankings, Scotty. So kicking off the NFL season, here's what I have for you, and then we'll get to yours. I have the Los Angeles Rams number one. Like I said earlier, it's pretty obvious to me they're the defending Super Bowl champions. And until you beat the top dog, you cannot be the top dog. They've gotten better on paper. They're number one. At number two, I'm buying. It's no disrespect to who they're playing tonight. I'm buying into Buffalo. I'm buying into Josh Allen and the Bills for the time being. At least, by the way, this is a regular season projection. So I think they're going to have a ton of success in the regular season. They're going to win their division, stack up wins throughout the year. Bills too. Number three, this one was difficult for me because I think the injuries they've sustained on the offensive line as of recent, it hurts. Chris Godwin, you don't know what you have there health-wise. Brady seems to be going through some stuff, but I can't go against the GOAT. To me, they're the second best roster in the NFC at the moment. So I'm going to go with the GOAT and Tom Brady at number three. At number four, this is the team I'm highest on out of anything, out of just where they were last year to where they can get to this year. That is the LA Chargers. Justin Herbert. People are talking about Josh Allen for MVP. Justin Herbert is my favorite to win MVP this year. Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, love them offensively. And what they were able to do defensively is the difference maker for me this year, along with Justin Herbert taking that next step. Number five, this is a weird one because you know my thoughts and feelings on the quarterback. I don't believe he's top 10 in the league. That's a discussion for another day. The Ravens are healthy, man. They were not healthy last year. They were the most injured, banged up team last season. They're healthy. Lamar's playing for contract. Maybe he gets paid tomorrow. We said it's a deadline. I don't know what he's going to decide to do, but fully healthy. J.K. Dobbins hopefully stays healthy this year, comes back soon. I have the Ravens at number five. The next one's even more weird for me because this roster, to me, is the worst overall roster in their entire division, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But I cannot just throw Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes to the wind like that. I still think they're going to be a playoff team. I still think they're going to be very good throughout the regular season. They definitely have something to prove. Mahomes has something to prove. They're at number six. Number seven, the team that lost to the Rams in the Super Bowl last year, the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Cool, Joe Breezy, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins back, Tyler Boyd back, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon. They addressed the offensive line, which was their demise last season, right? The defense, still good. They keep Jesse Bates. Love them this year. Number eight, I have the Green Bay Packers. Why, Scotty? A couple of reasons. A, they have a top two quarterback in the league, back-to-back reigning MVP in Aaron Rodgers. B, they have the highest paid. I think they have like four guys that make over $15 million on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to be a top five unit defensively, and they have a hell of a rushing attack with A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. Even though they lost Devontae Adams, even though I think they'll go through some growing pains early on in the year passing, they're still a top 10 team to me. Number nine, come on, man. Come on, Scotty. Do it, man. Do it. It's the Birds. Again, I don't know how many times. They could be even higher on this list. I just don't want to be too homerish and put them that high just yet. This roster is one of the most complete rosters in all of the National Football League. There's one question mark. That's the quarterback. I have hope. I have faith that he takes a step as a passer this year. They're a top 10 team with the ceiling of being a lot higher. Number 10, this is where things get weird to me. There's a bunch of teams that could go here. There are the Raiders, there are the Broncos, there are the Saints. I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts. Why? They're going to win their division. They're going to stack up wins in the regular season. They have a top They have a lot higher than a top 10 defense, but we'll just say like a top 7, top 8 defense. They have a top 2 running back in all of the National Football League in Jonathan Taylor, a hell of an offensive line. And even though I don't think he's a better talent than what they had last year, I think Matt Ryan brings stability to the Colts offense and the quarterback room. Colts are number 10 on my top 10 power rankings. Let's get over to Scotty's.
Yes, so we obviously agree on the top 2 there. Los Angeles Rams, Buffalo Bills. I'm with you. Like until you beat them, knock them off the throne, until I see the Rams just look like they've totally lost themselves, Rams are going to be my number 1 team. I told you before we made our picks with the game tonight. Even if the Rams lose, they're going to stay ahead of the Bills because one game does not decide how good these teams are. Buffalo Bills, we're riding the hype when we got them at number 2. We have to, right? They're a good team. There's a reason we have them at number 2. Josh Allen is a good quarterback. He might not be better than Patrick Mahomes. He might not be better than Aaron Rodgers. Just, down the line, they got a good surrounding cast. That defense, like you said earlier, is top 5 in the NFL. And then we get to number 3, and this is where our lists get a little different. I'm with you, though, on the Chargers hype as well. They're the team that has made the biggest jump on my list as well. And you talk about a team that didn't make the playoffs last year. But I just look at that division, and that could happen this year as well with the way that division is so tough. I don't think it's a knock on each team whether or not they miss the playoffs. It could be a matter of luck with how good this division is, how close it is this year. But I love what they've done on the defensive end, what they have on the offensive end. You talk about complete rosters. They got a top 5, 6, 7 quarterback, right? They have Austin Eckler, who's a top 5 running back. You have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, who's a top 3 duo, maybe? Top 3, 4, 5 duo in the NFL wide receiver.
Yeah, they're high.
What was that?
I said I had to go through it, but yeah, they're high on that kind of duo.
They're high on that list. And then you get to the defensive side of the ball, and you're talking about Bosa on one side and Khalil Mack on the other. And then you throw in a star like Derwin James, J.C. Jackson on the outside. He's coming back, getting healthy. They're stacked. I like the Chargers, man. I think they take a big jump this year. Number 4, the team you mentioned as a team that lost in the Super Bowl. I'm with you. And I will go this far because I think we basically have like the Bengals and the Ravens, kind of vice versa. You have the Ravens first, I have the Bengals. I ultimately think the Ravens end with a better record this season. I think they win the division, but I just think the Bengals have a better team. I just think the Bengals have a tougher schedule. But nonetheless, I trust Joe Cool. You know I love me some Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
I love me some Bengals. I got them number 4. The defense is still there. They've improved the offensive line. You get one more year, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, all those weapons, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, whatever. Number 5, I'm with you on the Green Bay Packers. I love what they have on their team, and I know everybody's circling and swirling around this Devontae Adams stuff. It makes sense. I get it. But they have the perfect pedigree to win football games when you have Aaron Rodgers, who you mentioned, top 2, top 3 quarterback in the NFL. And I only say top 3 because I had him number 3. You had him number 2. Yeah. I know. Aaron Rodgers on this roster, on this team, right? He's got to figure these wide receivers, these young guys out on the outside. That's fine. But until he figures it out, they can run the damn football with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, and they can defend the rock with the best of them. I'm with you. Top 5 defense in Green Bay this year. I like what they have. They can grind out games. Kansas City, it's just respect to Mahomes and Andy Reid. The really system they got going on there. It's as simple as that for them because I don't like the rest of the
really
roster.
Show me otherwise. Show me otherwise.
Show me that you suck before I believe it. 7, I'm with you on the Baltimore Ravens. I also think Lamar Jackson contract year, he's got to prove himself, right? He's going to ball out this year, I think. And they get their defense back healthy. They lost like all of their top corners down the line. Marcus Peters, they lost for the whole season last year. Ton of injuries, as you mentioned. I think the Ravens bounce back this year. They're a good team. Number 8, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're going to finish a lot higher than what they are right now. Writing what you said about the offensive line issues, that is my main concern. Getting Chris Godwin back healthy. Obviously adjusting to life without Gronk. But nonetheless, they still have a great defense. They still have Leonard Fournette in the backfield, and they still have the GOAT. Let's be real. And before we even get to I'll save it for later. Never mind. I'm going to move on to the next one. Number 9, I got the Denver Broncos. This was a late ad for me. And I was swirling around. I'm like, the Raiders, the Colts, who's the other team I had in there? Not necessarily the Minnesota Vikings. They're catching a lot of hype there. I wouldn't go that far. But the Colts, the Eagles, the Broncos, the Raiders, all in that 8 to 11, 12 space for me. Ultimately went with the Denver Broncos. You're throwing a Hall of Fame Russell Wilson quarterback on a team that has 2 horses in the backfield. You have a nice offensive line. You have a sturdy defense. And you have 2 or 3 good weapons on the outside for him to use. Love what the Broncos got. And then finally, the Birds. You already know this is one of the most improved rosters in the NFL. We just need Jalen Hurts to be that guy. That's where I'll leave that at. Top 10 there. I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts, though.
Yeah, man. And both are honestly the same outside of you have the Broncos, I have the Colts, and then we kind of just flip-flop pieces in the middle of where we have them right now. But I agree with you. And the Eagles thing, it's honestly just more so of not wanting to be a homer. Like, I get it's not being homerish, but the season hasn't started yet. So I'm not going to be a Cowboys fan. It's our year. It's our year. I'm not going to do that until I see the Eagles a month or so in really show me what I think this roster can do. Then obviously the power rankings are going to change week to week. They can be a lot higher, have top 5 type of potential, and really make some noise. But until that happens, I'm not going to call them, a top 7, top 6 type of team in this league over who's ahead of them. But let's wrap up the show with what could be the best part of it. And again, this is our season kickoff show. So what comes with that, Scotty? Predictions.
Yes,
and what do we got to predict? Who will be there at the finish line at the end of this season? This one's going to be interesting to see what we have here. Let's start in the NFC because I think that's the weaker of the 2 conferences. I'd love to hear who you have 1 through 7.
Yeah, so I'll start from the bottom up, man. So number 7, I have the Cowboys, man, and that is that's me. I feel like that's a reach for me, man. I don't know that the Cowboys make the playoffs this year. I do not like what they have around Dak. Obviously the weapons on offense, but that offensive line is horrid. And you got Jason Peters. He's not even going to start this weekend, but when he does, good luck. I'm not sure about a 40-year-old offensive tackle protecting Dak. But nonetheless, I got the Cowboys coming in at the 7 seed there. That's just a little bit of don't shoot myself in the foot, right? That's kind of what that is right there. Number 6.
Too much of a hit.
Exactly. I'm not going to hate too much. I'm not going to be too biased. Until they suck, I'll give them a little bit of credit. They're not winning the division, though. Number 6, I got the Minnesota Vikings. I think they're a team that's catching a little bit of hype. I don't think any type of Kirk Cousins MVP run. I think that's a little far stretch. I get the perspective, but I just think that's a little far stretch. But I like what the Vikings have. They have a sturdy defense. They have a powerful offense, an exciting offense nonetheless. Number 5, 49ers, man. It's going to be so interesting to see how this Trey Lance, Jimmy G thing plays out throughout the season. At some point, does Trey Lance, is he bad enough for them to go to Jimmy G? Once you go there, you can't go back in reality. I don't know. There's part of me that feels like Trey Lance could ball out, but at the same time, we have not seen a lot of him. Nonetheless, I love the surrounding cast. They got to the NFC
for sure
last year, for goodness sake. Number 4, this one is where things may get a little tricky, and I think this might surprise people. I got number 4 being the Packers. I got the Packers coming in there. They're the last divisional winner, and we'll leave it at that with the Packers, right? Number 3, I got the Birds. They're going to take the NFC East. We had them at what? 12 wins, 11, 12, 13 wins, I believe.
12.
If they play as well as we think they will, if they gel as well as we think they will, if they stay healthy, even if Jalen Hurts is not the franchise quarterback, they can be this good. And that's what I truly believe. I think that roster, like you said earlier, is one of the most complete rosters in the NFL. And the NFC is not that great. The Eagles' schedule is not that tough. And we're gonna find out. But I got the Eagles coming in at 3rd seed. Number 2, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm with you. I think they are the second best roster in the NFC. I think they're the second best team when it comes down to paper, what you're looking at. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's Tom Brady. It's the GOAT. And it almost feels like people are counting them out, man. Don't do that. Do not do that. Number one, obviously the LA Rams, my dude. Like we've talked about this entire show, we're gonna crown them until they're uncrowned, and it's as simple as that. What do you got?
were 9 seconds away from us agreeing on the top 6.
Really?
Well, I thought and I was going to say, we didn't agree for the first 25 minutes of the show and things just drastically changed. But I'll start at the bottom. So you couldn't be that much of a hater. Allow me to be that hater. The Dallas Cowboys are not making the playoffs this year. The New Orleans Saints will be the 7th seed. This team is again, we've thrown top 5 defense out there a lot with a couple different teams. It's going to be interesting, but they are truly around a top 5 type of unit, adding the Honey Badger and Tyrann Mathieu on that defense. Yeah. Jameis is there. Do I trust Jameis? Not at all. However, I know Jameis can sling it. And this supporting cast, Alvin Kamara is not getting suspended this year as of right now.
Yeah.
And their wide receiving core is literally brand new to what it was last year.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas, who was here last year, did not play a single snap last year. Michael Thomas is back. Chris Olave, they drafted. Jarvis Landry, they signed. So their top 3 wide receivers, his top 3 targets, were not here last year. Kamara's not be suspended. We know what that defense is. They will make the playoffs, at least as that wild card with the Bucs in their division. Yeah. Number 6, I had the Vikings. Nothing left to say. I think they're going to be a good team, like you mentioned. I don't think they're good enough until I see that proven otherwise a month or so in. I'm not putting them above the Packers right now. They'll be the 6th seed. Number 5, I have the Niners. Trey Lance is a huge question mark, just like Jalen Hurts, just like Tua is for their respective teams. However, you mentioned it. They went to the NFC Championship game last night. They beat last year. They beat Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau in a weird type of game. If Trey Lance can get them anywhere kind of more explosive offensively, they are a really, really good team. Super Bowl contenders at that point.
Dangerous.
Number 4, I have the Packers. Again, they will win that division. Wow. I think they're going to go through some kind of learning curve early on in the year without Devontae Adams. And I have the Rams 1. Our only difference is I have the Birds 2, the Bucs 3. Now let me put this in. Let me talk about it for a second, okay? Because I know everyone's going to take that and run with it. You have the Eagles. No. What did you say? Thank you, George. What did you say we have the Eagles as record-wise?
11, 12. What did we end with?
12. I have them at 12-5. Okay,
12-5.
I think that's good enough for the 2 seed. I don't think the Bucs will win more than 12 games. Maybe the Bucs win 12 exactly. I don't think they win more. So I'm talking. This is regular season. I'm not talking they're better than the Bucs come postseason. Regular season. If I have them at 12-5, I think that's good enough for the 2 seed. I really do. So that's what I have in the NFC. We were this close to just swapping out the 7 seeds.
See,
I only go with the Birds because of the record I have.
And I thought, and see, I wasn't catching what you had originally said. I thought we were going to be different at Packers and Eagles, but you surprised me nonetheless. I love it.
Yeah, man. All right, let's head on over to the AFC before we wrap the show up.
Yes,
this one was tough for me. I'm going to start top to bottom this time.
Mm-hmm.
At number 1, I have tonight's opponent for the LA Rams. I have the Buffalo Bills. Again, this is regular season. I think they are going to eat up wins. They play in a bad division. Like I said, Miami's interesting. Miami could give them a run for a second. They're not the Bills. The Bills, again, top 5 unit. I keep throwing that out there with all these playoff teams, but it's true. They could be the best defense in all of football, one healthy. Josh Allen, top 3 quarterback. The Stephon Diggs, top 5 wide receiver. They're very complete. They're deep. I think they finished 1 in the AFC. Number 2, my not even my dark horse, just my favorite team maybe in the league outside of my Eagles is the LA Chargers. I don't know why I'm buying so much. Like, listen, I know I dragged people through the mud at the beginning of the show. Why do you view the Bills this way? Why do you view the Josh Allen this way? Can you ask me the same question? Why the hell do I view the LA Chargers this way? Why do I view Justin Herbert this way? It's a gut feel for me, man. I really do. It's not the favorite pick. The Bills are the favorite pick. Justin Herbert's my favorite to win the MVP. I know what they can do offensively, and they answered all the questions defensively. Khalil Mack across from Joey Bosa, J.C. Jackson, Derwin James. Are you kidding me? I think they win their division. I think they probably win 12 games as well. Yeah. I have the Ravens at number 3. I think they win that division in the regular season over the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they probably win 11 or 12 games right there with the Chargers. I like Lamar regular season. I don't trust Lamar as far as I can throw him come playoff time. Number 4, I don't think this is a shock to
As
anybody.
far as he can throw, you should say.
There you go. Look at you. Fist bump, brother. I have the Indianapolis Colts. There's no competition in this division. But I don't think they're going to be as powerful as the top 3 teams in terms of wins. I don't think the Colts are going to win 12 games. I could see them going 10-7, 11-6 in that area. Therefore, now let's get to the wild card. I had the Cincinnati Bengals finishing 5. I don't think it's as easy as some people think. Well, they made it to the Super Bowl last year, and they're all back, and Joe Burrow's here, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I get that. But I don't think they win their division, and I don't think the Steelers are as much of a walk in the park as some people think as a complete roster. So I'm going Bengals 5 out of respect. Out of respect also, I'm going Kansas City 6. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, I cannot just throw it aside. I still think they make the playoffs, even though they don't win their division. Number 7, again, just like with the NFC, this was the hardest one to pick. Do you go do you go Raiders here? If you're me, I didn't pick the Raiders. I showed some love to your number 9 team, and I went with Russ, and I went with the Denver Broncos. Them and the Raiders were just, they are this close. 3 teams from the AFC West will make the playoffs this year. I promise you that.
Yeah.
But I'm going with the Broncos because of Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I'll be honest with you, Dylan. I'll go through these quick because ours are eerily similar, except for literally one. But all of the teams are the same. Number 1, Bills. I'm with you. It's the favorite. This is what we're going to do. Their division is simply easier than AFC West, and that's all they need this season. They are the best team outside of the AFC West in the AFC, right? So I think they come out with the best record. Chargers, number 2. I think they win the division. I think they're the most complete team in that division. I'm with you. I love what the Chargers are doing. There's part of me that wonders, can Justin Herbert sneak into that trio of young quarterbacks, make it a trio, right? Make it Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, right? Make it that conversation. We'll see. Number 3, Ravens. Same. I got you. They're back healthy. They have a very good defense. Harbaugh is a great coach. Lamar Jackson contract year, great regular season player. Ravens do their thing. They win the division. They have an easier schedule than the Bengals. Colts, number 4. I'm with you. Matt Ryan, the stability. The more I think about that Matt Ryan trade, the more it kind of makes sense. I get it. He's going to make the right plays at the right times, and that's kind of going to be the difference for the Colts this year. Don't like the Titans. I really just don't like their offense. I don't like what they got going on there. They have a good defense. I don't like Ryan Tannehill without notable offensive weapons. Number 5, I got the Chiefs. This is the only switch that I have with you. And it's funny because I had the Bengals at number 5 and I crossed them out and put the Chiefs out of respect. When Bengals number 6, moved them down a notch. I'm with you. I think it would be a little much for them to come out and just go to the AFC Championship game and run the table when you're talking about Joe Burrow's 3rd season, Jamar Chase's 2nd season. That's a little much, even with them making a little bit of improvements. And number 7, I'm with you on the Broncos. I think adding Russell Wilson, you look at the teams before the quarterback, right? And I just like what the Broncos have just a little bit more than what the Raiders have. And that was where it came down to the line for me. But overall, same exact teams in the AFC.
I like it, man. No, I completely agree. Now I'm interested to wrap up this show and get your thoughts on this year's Super Bowl.
Man. Okay, so I'll give it to you quick because I know we got to end the show. The game's about to come the fuck on. I have Super Bowl this year. I have Bills and Bucks. I think the Bills get over the hump. Once again, that gut feeling. It's that revenge tour for the Josh Allen Bills. And I have them going against the Bucks in the Super Bowl. Once again, I think Tom Brady's being a little discredited this year. A little bit of a revenge for Tom Brady, knocking the Rams out in the NFC Championship from the way I see it in this upcoming season. Bills, Bucks, Super Bowl. Bills, Super Bowl champion. I think it's Buffalo's time, man. The Bills Mafia deserves it. Just that weird feeling. I'm riding along with it, man. Could be a bad thing. Could be a good thing.
You ready?
What do you got?
Get it? Get it? Get it? I'm going with the battle. I'm going with the Battle of LA, baby. It's not in SoFi this year. If it would have been perfect,
Yeah, that would have been perfect.
movie ending type of script there last year. But I am going with the Rams versus the Chargers. I'm going with the Rams going back to back. Now, listen, I had to think about this a lot of ways. I understand how difficult it is to get back there and to forget about winning it, just getting back there.
Get in there,
okay.
yeah.
But when I looked at the NFC, I didn't want to come out and pick the Eagles tonight. Do I think it's a possibility? Yes. But we have question marks in Jalen Hurts, and I just didn't want to be that guy before seeing a game. And I know Phil picked them, and it's a possibility. I don't feel comfortable yet saying that they're going to make or win the Super Bowl until I see them play a little bit, okay?
I feel that.
And if it's not them and it's not the Rams, is it you pick the Bucks? Sure.
Right.
They have a lot of question marks to me, man. As long as the Rams stay healthy, they are the best team in, if not the league, in the conference. Then I go to the AFC. Flip a coin, bro. Flip a coin with 7 sides because there's so many options that can get to the Super Bowl. I don't remember a year that we had this many teams or this many competitors at once, but I'm going to go with my hot topic, my hot pick, and that is Justin Herbert and the Chargers.
Just one perspective on the AFC, just to ride your point there. With the way we have our seeds set up right now, the Chargers would play the Broncos in the first round of the playoffs. And, just to ride your point, draw a card for the AFC because quite literally the Chargers could lose to the Broncos in the first round. I'm not saying it will happen. I would pick the Chargers in that game. It's just interesting to think about nonetheless.
Yeah, man. All right. With all that being said, let's wrap up this edition of NFL Turf Talk season kickoff show. The game is coming on now. We got a little bit of time, but probably it's going to start later than 8:20. We already know that. Opening night, whatever. But leading into tonight's show, everyone go enjoy the game. Get some bets in, get some money in. If you guys got any fantasy football stuff going on, good luck tonight. I think the only player I have is Dawson Knox in one of my couple leagues. Not overly excited for a fantasy perspective tonight. But with all that being said, head on over to @DSM_media. Hit that follow button. We greatly appreciate it. Check out the link here in our bio. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on everything. So wherever you get your content, wherever you consume your podcast, check us out. DSM Media. Follow my man Scotty on Twitter @ScottyJohn. You can check me out on Twitter @DylanJD98. Enjoy the night. Football's back. Go unwrap your gift and have a hell of a Thursday night.
Peace, guys.